Welcome to Blank.
Yeah.
Edit all of that out.
Right. Speaking of religious experiences, today we're talking about the Sabbat.
We should probably do intros for people who have no idea what the fuck this is.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to Blank Bodies. I'm Hunter, and I'm joined as always by...
John.
And I am Sarah.
And our lore bot.
James.
Oh my god.
It went off smooth.
It went off smoothly.
Nice. Nobody
We got some
fucked around this
W.
time.
We got some WD-40.
Just like the third hit of DMT.
Yeah.
Blasted right off.
Blasted.
All right.
I'll do it again. All right, buckle up, shit fucks. In terms of V5, I was wrong. These are not the. These are not the right. These are not the ones who got it right.
Yeah, you mean the Sabbat are kind of fucked up?
And V5 definitely fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, they guys. You can't be the anti-hero with Sabbat anymore.
Nah. If you want to at your table, it's fine.
Yeah,
but
you
like,
can change it, but canonically, you can't.
Canonically, it's like
You can't just be like, we're the ones who got it right. We're gonna fucking kill the antediluvians. It's like, nah, they're unhinged psychopaths.
I mean, they might kill the antediluvians, but like, at what cost?
Is that what you're supposed to explore here? How far are you willing to go?
I mean, if they were player characters, but in the new book, they're not explicitly written as player character
Yeah,
things.
that's one of the first things it says in the book is that this book is not for your players.
I.e., guys, any of y'all that liked playing Sabbat, you scared the hoes, and now we can't play them as PCs canonically.
No.
You can do whatever you want, but I'm pretty sure the majority of people that like to play Sabbat players, y'all scared the hoes.
Now, Sarah, I have a question for you.
As a hoe, yes.
Thank you, Ho. Stating that this book, is not for players, how much of this is like spoiler territory for someone who's going to be playing V?
So, little TLDR.
I also have a question before we actually get into the episode.
Okay, TLDR. This episode, we're not getting into major spoilers of like NPCs and disciplines and the paths and all of that in the new Sabbat, the Black Handbook for V5. That's what we're talking about partially, and also just the sect of the Sabbat. We're going to talk a little bit of how they were previously and kind of how they're going for now. This whole Crash Course series is supposed to be more of like a vibe check of this is kind of roughly how each of the sects kind of feel. This is roughly how they're structured, just so you kind of get an idea of like, hey, if you're wanting to run a game and have a campaign setting, these are themes and things you should look into for doing these. We do have a desire to do a deep dive series on each of the sects. That's like more nuts and bolts and like, hey, who are the important players and how do you actually like run these things in a game and what are things you should be doing and probably a more deep dive of the new Sabbat book and things we like and don't like. And there are some fun notes in the new book. I do enjoy it a lot. But mild spoilers, nothing like game destroying or anything, but just kind of a, hey, this is an overview of what the fuck to expect with Sabbat now.
Okay, cool.
What was your question, John?
Is this the episode that I bring back the baby eating jokes?
I mean, yeah, actually. Actually, it's very fitting. I'm
Skipper,
sad.
You had a talk.
Ooh.
You had a talk with some nice men in black.
I know, I missed them.
He misses them. All right.
New World Order, I attempted to get the message across.
But, yeah. So, side note.
I'm not the problem here.
For the deep dive, I think we're planning on setting up a Patreon poll of like which sect we're going to be doing as a deep dive first.
Yes.
But it'll be after the end of the Crash Course series, which will be the Anarchs last. I'm going to read an excerpt from the new book, just so everybody's aware of what we're getting into. We can count this as a slight content warning.
Major content warning.
Yeah. Vampire, the game, deals with mature themes and story elements that some may find uncomfortable or that remind them of personal traumas. This can be especially true of the Sabbat, which deals overtly with violence, situations intended to harm the individual's sense of self, and relationships with authority and personal boundaries. It's worth calling out that these are story elements and themes. They are specifically not a license to traumatize players or abuse the trust between players. While the characters in a chronicle in which the Sabbat plays a part may well experience dire circumstances, by no means should such situations or techniques be visited upon the participants of the game. That's like one of the first big blocks of text in the new Sabbat book.
I think if you're going to approach a game with the Sabbat, you borderline need to approach it like a haunted house, where you need to damn straight up like let anyone involved know this is a lights on walk, this is a lights off, this is a full contact. Like I would say you could run a super edgy, super hardcore game, but you need to let your players know, like, I am intentionally trying to scare you, the players, not just your characters. I think that could be a lot of fun, but you need to get everyone's signature beforehand on that. I wouldn't say to never do that. I would say you have to know what you're getting into, and your players do too, and they should be seasoned players. I don't think anyone's first game should be...
No,
This
do
is
not.
called How do you make a role-playing murderer?
Yeah, do not bring your brand new baby players and just like yeet them into a Sabbat game. Like even in like the old World of Darkness book, I'm like, don't do that.
That literally reads as just, hi, I have trauma and I'd like you to have some as well.
Yeah, or very. I have dealt with some very toxic players that used games with the Sabbat as an excuse to do some very fucking horrendous things. And the excuse is, well, I'm in the Sabbat, it's fine, I'm supposed to be a monster. And I'm just like, yeah, I get that, but we didn't talk about this, and we did not agree to you doing those things, and you're lucky that I respect the other people at the table as much as I do.
Yeah. It's
Or you
definitely...
flip it.
I should have flipped it, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a McCamey Manor situation. I don't know if anyone else is here into weird internet spooky stuff, but like there are people who specifically sign up to go to haunted houses and stuff where they're going to get waterboarded and whipped.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
oh god, have you seen
handcuffed.
It's the series on Netflix, Dark Tourism, where the guy goes to the extreme haunted house where it's just some guy and his wife in the woods that like people pay money to go to his house, and they just basically like torture their guests, like actually waterboard them and like tie them up and beat the shit out of them and leave them in the woods naked and cold and all sorts of fucked up shit.
that might be the one I'm talking about. They used to be in California and they were forced to move.
I think it might have been them, yeah.
There's a lot of controversy around them, but there are people who sign up for that specifically because they want to go through those experiences. If you want to do that at your role-playing table, I'm not going to say like you're doing anything wrong, but just have a combo.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to yuck your yum. Just make sure everybody's consenting. We have an episode on this. If you have problems thinking about that consent thing, go listen to that episode.
It's
again.
episode 5.
Yep.
No.
Unless you want me to yuck your yum, and then you can pay me for that.
Hey,
No.
me too.
Some people are into that. Oh, God. My trying to attempt to get the Sabbat down into a sentence, a definition of what this is the Sabbat is a militant, zealous sect that believes in the destruction of the antediluvians, vampire supremacy, and gaining ascension to the higher state of being that is the Dark Father, aka Cain. And they do this through cult building rituals and social Darwinism.
Uh-huh.
Gross.
Yeah, so this
Honest-
is not like, this isn't like, oh, we're gonna be spooky and wear leather and do our dark biddings. I'm bidding on a table.
I love to lick knives.
Yeah, this is
There is kind of one.
They're not
that's like
Anton
that.
LaVey anymore,
Oh,
is what you're
God.
saying.
Yeah, you this has gone beyond like Anton LaVey's silly, just like, yes, I'm doing these dark things with a snake so I can get hot witchy ladies to sit upon my lap.
Right, yeah.
You know, like, no, this
It's not
is
that anymore.
No, this is cutting into themes where like this is like ruined countries and peoples. Like this is like not good. Speaking of ruining countries and peoples, what is social Darwinism? Strap in, everybody. Yeah, basically social Darwinism is the philosophical theory that humans live in different kind of groups and racial groups that are subject to the same laws of natural selection that Darwin talked about in his theories, but we're going to take it a step further. These social Darwinists believe in the, you guys have heard the term survival of the fittest. Yeah, the social Darwinists are the ones that kind of came up with that term initially, and they believe that you can select certain traits in groups of people that are superior and weed out the inferior traits. So that's eugenics. We're not going to get into that.
Say, that's just eugenics.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that super, super hard if you're kind of interested in, like...
But somehow mind eugenics when it comes
Oh,
to
no,
Sabbat.
mind eugenics is also, like, cultural, like, genocide and shit like that is things that come up. We're not going to get into that right now, but these are themes that do get touched on.
Very heavily.
Very heavily. This shit did exist in the old world of darkness. A lot of people just kind of didn't get into it. Which is part of the reason I was uncomfortable with it back in the day.
It's also, I'm not going to go super deep into it, but there was one specific group, a bloodline from Old World of Darkness that I was curious if they would be brave, or not, I don't think brave enough, is if they would be, they'd be able to write the Frankensteins.
Oh, the Blood Brothers.
The Blood Brothers, but they were essentially the Sabbat would eugenically build like skinhead neo-Nazis who were uber stupid and uber just like, oh, I'm strong. I will walk through walls to kill someone I've been set upon. Super cool as an enemy, but I could definitely see why they wouldn't tread that. But I mean, that's been in there from the beginning. They are absolutely eugenicists and...
Because they were specifically Zamitzi.
Yeah.
They were Zamitzi pet projects.
Yeah, if you're interested in learning about this further so that you can kind of handle this topic, I think, responsibly or give it the kind of weight it needs, the guy who came up with this idea is named Herbert Spencer. He was a peer of Darwin from back in the time period. He's actually credited with coining the term survival of the fittest. Yeah, so... if you want, like, at least a lighter kind of introduction to these kind of things, I have a reference about more research later on. I did make a point because I talked about Umberto Eco's Fascism in the Camarilla book, and I went through the Sabbat, and they checked a lot more boxes. Like, a lot, like most of the boxes. Most of the boxes get checked, or at least a half check. Like, and I even went through Old World Sabbat where you're like, oh, they're not necessarily the bad guys. And I'm like, I mean, nobody is morally the good guy generally in a vampire game, but like these guys just kind of take it and you're just like, oh, you took the evil football and went all the way to the end goal. Girl, why are you still running? Girl, you didn't have to, you could stop. You could, oh God. She out the stadium with the evil football. Just
running into the ocean.
Yeah, just a full, you know.
I still say that was my favorite part during the research. You were like, do they have a mythical time before? And I'm like, yeah, it's the time before the antediluvians ate Cain's progeny. That's there. Everything was good until this.
Yeah, that's just... God. I mean, I guess if people want to watch me get stressed out and sad, I could go through the 14 points from Fascism at some point in a stream and be like, let's go through this sect and this checklist and see what they actually cross.
Oh, we could do a whole episode about that.
Oh, God. Yeah. Because it's one of those... I don't think having games that have heavier topics should be something that keeps you from doing that. Like, but also people should be aware of these things and make sure they're not, like, accidentally putting it in a good light. Or, accidentally getting themselves into thinking, oh, this idea seems jazzy and fun. And I'm like, no, it's not. This is bad. This is all bad. Do not do these things in the reels.
And it's definitely bonus content material, but if you want to see a role-playing book that gets into, like, darker topics and approaches it incredibly well, I personally would recommend Harlem Unbound, the recent Call of Cthulhu setting book. It's Harlem in the, I believe, 1920s.
Oh, shit.
From a black perspective.
Nice.
But it's almost all POC writers and... super well written. I think that would be it's a good counter. I would say that book is almost essential for Call of Cthulhu if you're playing one of the like historical settings, because it does kind of address a lot of things that when people are like, oh, it's a pulp game, that kind of get brushed under the rug.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, you're playing Call of Cthulhu. I hope you're playing a white man.
A straight white man.
Oh, yeah, no.
A man better be the straightest straight.
Or
yeah.
at least
I'm just a confirmed bachelor.
Are you a midnight botanist? That's one of my favorite old-timey uses for a gay. That's so good. But yeah, so to give context to part of the reason why we're trying to be so heavy on this is not something to fuck around with. It's like it needs to be given a little bit. You can fuck around with it, but like give it don't punch the mic. You can give it some weight and respect because, you know, if you're gonna cover your heavier shit, you need to be aware what the fuck you're doing and be somewhat of an adult about it. Mm-hmm. We're gonna talk a little bit about what the Sabbat was like in the old world.
Neither the mindless barbarians nor the infernal zealots, others who know of them portray them to be, vampires of the Sabbat run dangerously close to becoming so. That's from Guide to the Sabbat, page 11.
Yeah, I cited shit, bitches. So, I don't know how many of you guys dealt with Sabbat in old world system.
We never got into it. I think the games that I always played, when I say we, I mean me personally, the people I have always played with, we always did more Camarilla and maybe you're an Anarch, but we didn't get too into it, like city politics and like more like street level gameplay.
Yeah.
To where you're like such a low level vampire that like it doesn't really matter to you. Yeah. You're just like, I'm just struggling to survive and I'm getting sent on jobs.
As I said, the main crux of the old world story I was going for was seeing if I could convert the city into a Sabbat city. And not like, meow, shovelhead time. Just a slow burn throughout the campaign. Be like, you guys are free to choose whatever you want. I mean, again, I wasn't like gaslighting them into it. I was like, being like, hey, here's some ideas. What are we doing with this? Just seeing how they would go, what choices they would make, and be like, also be able to look at them and go, okay, if you guys just went straight Sabbat and immediately went murder hobo, here's a mirror. Go see a counselor.
She's kind of girl boss the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
My parents played Sabbat, but they were like monster hunters.
Yeah, because most people I know that have dealt with Sabbat in their game tend to either have them just be like cannon fodder bad guys, or if they did play Sabbat, it was kind of like edgelordy, like anti-hero stuff, kind of like if you were the Punisher. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you're the good guy, but like, are you really? Like,
but the Punisher that didn't read the Punisher comics?
Yeah. Or shit, I'm trying to remember this character.
Moon Knight?
No. Moon Knight is a fucking treasure. How dare you? The Darkness, whatever the fuck.
Oh, yeah. Where you're just like, you're the head of the mob and you get killed and a demon takes over you. And you're mostly tearing apart other mobsters and criminals anyway, but you're also just like expanding. He's also just expanding his criminal empire.
Yeah.
So like, you're literally a villain, like sending people's soul to hell, but they're also like other like very stereotypical like gangsters half the time, so you don't really care.
Yeah, that's a lot of what I have seen and or read, except for the couple of interactions I've had where I went, oh no, no, I'm gonna, this is not safe, Daddy, take me home and get me ice cream, I don't like this. There is a reason why certain other people in the tabletop RPG groups, when they hear, oh, you play vampire, they will quietly like leave.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So up until recently, this shit was kind of part of the reason why.
Yeah, I've talked about it many times out of here. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the podcast, but it's definitely a fandom rule. 9 times out of 10, guys, your fandom gets judged on the loudest, douchiest assholes because they're the ones that are seen the most, sadly.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason why they've got the Klingon hate for the Klingons that don't lose their crap, the furries that are literally over in the corner and everybody's like, we're normal, but the sex pasture over there, and much like Vampire the Masquerade, we get labeled as, oh, is this going to be a weird you working out your angst and trauma while we all watch and participate?
Well, that's in a lot of vampire games. So I feel like the real stereotype was, oh, that's the game for school shooters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, Warhammer, the game for, like, actual Nazis. And, oh, yeah, like, that's...
Yeah, which is a little unfortunate.
I like 40K.
Yeah, well...
40K's lore is amazing. Orcs are the best thing ever.
Yeah. Which, side note, kind of unfortunate thing about that is, the Sabbat, while they were very incredibly violent and they did practice a lot of the culty ritual things and the violence and things. Sorry, what?
I think I was
Okay.
I was going to do that point that you're.
Oh yeah, well they did the cultic ritual things and the blood bonding and shovel heading, and which we'll get into later. They did have a loose structural organization, and they actually even had like a code of ethics that they kind of agreed on called the Code of Milan.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, they have hardline made them villains in this one. The Code of Milan, if you read it, is actually pretty good. Like, it's pretty much just kind of like a militant structured anarch code. Am I getting that right?
No. It's reading through it, it's like half of it is like half of like parts of it are like they took like the couple of things from like the 6 traditions that weren't like complete shit.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of a lot of like Levian Satanist kind of stuff where it's like, respect other people, but if they disrespect you in the slightest, fucking destroy them.
Yep. I did like that their last addendum was just like, question all authority at all times, and if they tell you not to question them, end them. I'm like, I'm not against that.
Yeah, it's,
Except
but...
for New World Order, I never question you.
I will say in general, this is probably... There's some very pro-Satanist thoughts on this podcast.
Yeah, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm registered, so...
I guess I would... My ideology falls closest to Discordianism, so meaningless.
Yeah,
But
it's
Get
fine.
out.
Nord.
Yeah, but yeah, by the 1990s and 2000s, the Spot had matured into like a rather sizable sect and had some general vague organization, and they were big enough that they actually had factions within inside of them, and the biggest one was called the Black Hand, which was kind of like the Sabbat, like, special ops, like...
Yeah, they were supposed to be the guys literally going after the antediluvians. Now it's just like everybody's
I'll get into that.
I'm just still thinking about...
We're talking about, like, before the V5 books right now.
Okay, cool. I need to have a moment real quick.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to Montreal?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
That happens, yeah. But yeah, the Sabbat had a big network. They controlled big chunks of like North America and parts of South America, and they had little chunks in various other parts of the world. Basically, as long as the area wasn't too modernized, quote unquote, the Sabbat probably had a pretty good foothold in there. Mm-hmm. They had several clans that were in the Sabbat, let alone like ones that were just exclusively in the Sabbat.
Yeah, pretty much La Sombre and Zamitzi.
Yeah, and then a Gehenna happens.
Yup.
So, and...
Guess who was right on that one?
Yeah. But in current nights, to quote the book, to oversimplify, what the Sabbat wants is freedom, complete and total freedom. This obsessive desire for total personal freedom at the expense of every other possible consideration starts and arguably ends with the antediluvians.
Sabbat, page 77.
Yes.
If you want to read it yourself.
If anybody wants to do a dramatic reading of the update, this is what we're dealing with now.
Mm-hmm. What they've become now.
In the final nights, the Sabbat is at once an unpredictable hive of clashing orthodoxies and a terrible, relentless monolith. The apocalyptic Gehenna War has crippled its former leadership structure and robbed it of its most potent elders. Almost the entirety of the Black Hand's former domain have been seized up by rival sects, even as the Second Inquisition harries the Sword of Cain at all turns. Tonight, the Sabbat is smaller than it has been since its foundation, fighting a desperate war against enemy sects, mortal hunters, and the antediluvians themselves, all of which means tonight, Sabbat has nothing left to lose.
This is so much scarier than the old books, and it's part of the reason why I like it more. It's just like, oh no. Oh, this is actually terrifying now.
Because now they're desperate. And
Yeah, because now instead of just a bunch of fucking edgy, like, anarchs that are just like, I just want to kill people and be in charge because I'm better than other people because I'm a vampire or a Cainite. It's like, no. These guys are fucking, like, dunked in the flavor aid, like, absolute fucking just deranged. And it's just like, oh no.
It's literally the kindergarten gremlin that you're just like, oh no. That thing doesn't understand that it's made of flesh.
Yeah.
It just understands pain and id.
Mm-hmm. And it likes it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the rough of Sabbat society now is, the Sabbat now, their numbers are so crunched that the Sabbat and the Black Hand are now used interchangeably in the new book, which leads me to believe that any of the Sabbat that are left are former Black Hand, which means these are guys that are like strapped and know what the fuck they're doing, and they are terrifying and they are trained and they don't give a fuck.
Now, this is kind of a cleanup from something that we will go into more in future episodes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But over the Old World of Darkness line,
Yeah.
they had to release more books. So a lot of the things that were supposed to be secret and scary, first they'd get revealed, and then they'd become player options, and then those player options would get full stories, like fleshing them out as like relatable characters that you can actually like feel sorrow for their plight, which takes a lot of the fear of them away. And this says fuck that to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Hand used to be when they made the Sabbat player characters, then they made the then they made the sect inside of the Sabbat, the Black Hand, that was kind of sold as the Black Hand is everything the Camarilla says the Sabbat is. They basically tried to take the scary Sabbat and be like, oh, that's just the Black Hand. We have all that. But now they've said, we're wiping everything out. It's just every bad thing you've ever heard. That's all there is pain and sorrow and fear.
And as I said, my tinfoil brain theory is just, y'all scared the hoes, and now we can't have nice things.
It's like, well, you can.
I mean, it was never nice things.
It was never nice things. It's just, if you want to have your kind of edgy anti-hero that doesn't play by society's rules, you can just put him in the Anarchs.
Bam.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about more in detail in the next chunk.
You could even do it in the Camarilla, but
Yeah, honestly. Just, God damn it, McGillicuddy, turning your gun in your badge. Basically, the Sabbat serve one purpose, which is tear it down. Tear it all down. Not just the Camarilla, and not just like any whatever the fuck the Anarchs think they're doing and tearing down the Second Inquisition. They're talking about tearing down society, like like fucking everything. Because they view that the antediluvians, that their power is so far-reaching that it gets into the cam and therefore into everything that the Kine are doing, that any sense of society or civility is something that the antediluvians will use as a shield to protect themselves.
All right, then.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh no.
It's a good thing they've never got their hands on nukes.
Yeah.
That might be a thing that we need to talk about. Yeah, but the people that I've seen online that have complained about this about being like, oh, just a bunch of mindless murder hobos now. Like, no, there is still tact and planning within it. There's just any lack of decorum. This is a full and total war situation, and they split their tactics between a hot war, which is active, like, engagement and infiltration and destruction, and then a cold war, which is more infiltration and subversion and, you know, sending people into, like, little anarch havens being like, hey, don't you just want to go ape shit?
Yeah, they definitely make it a point in the book that they don't tell you to have the Sabbat just wantonly murder for no good reason. They're like, you should at least, like, have a reason. Like, they have some goal. You might not understand it, but it isn't just, well, fuck that barista.
Yeah, it's just not like a fucking, it's not like a field of locusts coming through and just destroying everything wantonly. Like, their numbers are so small that they do need to have some strategic, like, strikes and plans. And
Yeah, they have an idea. If they make a crapload of shovel heads to destroy a city, they probably just wanted to kill one building, but they just went with the tactic of, fuck it, let's burn it all.
Yeah.
That was still a tactic.
And they're not subtle when
No.
they do things, which is part of the reason why the Second Inquisition has keyed in on them so hard. There's notes about that in the Chicago by Night book, that part of the reason Detroit is so fucking terrifying in that setting is it was a Sabbat stronghold. Then a bunch fucked off to Gehenna, wherever the fuck that is, and those who remained in Detroit were fucking around, and the First Light showed up and just started, like, rooting them out. So just Detroit is just covered in Second Inquisition agents and maybe a couple of the Sabbat who are smart enough to not get caught, which is terrifying.
Gehenna is actually somewhere in the Middle East / Europe. It does say that in the book.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, morals. What are the thoughts on things with the Sabbat? Basically, the hand of Cain will provide their devotion and their worthiness to the Dark Father's blessings. Thereafter, they will be rewarded by becoming perfected themselves as Cain was and is.
That's like their moral.
That
That one right there.
They,
Yeah.
they
That's it.
believe they have swallowed the Kool-Aid in a pyramid scheme that had absolutely no promise. That they're like, if we kill the antediluvians, Cain will be so happy. He will make us big boys.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't even like a pyramid scheme. It was just kind of a rough, like, cult-like promising of constantly, the cult tactic of, like, constantly just being like, the end is now, you gotta act now, you gotta do something, you gotta be ready, because, daddy's coming, and he's gonna make everything better, but until then, you just have to do these terrible things, and don't worry about it. You're blessed because, you're a Canaanite. And you're better than all of these filthy non-believers, and you should just do what we're telling you to do. Don't eat me, please. I also am against authority of any kind. Contradictory logic and all that.
So it's more like a cult.
Yeah, it's basically a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the big things that makes the Sabbat really different from any of the other sects is they don't really do the clan thing. All vampires are Canaanites. Any kind of curse from your clan is just a stain that's left over from the sin of the antediluvians. So just they don't it's part of their, when you join the Sabbat, they try to differentiate you and separate you from your connections from other people by being like, no, you're a Canaanite and you're better than other people and you should just do diablerie and whatever wanton you want to do because you're powerful and that's how you achieve godhood.
See, until that part, I was like, that's not so bad. Like, being like, no, there aren't clans. Like, we don't gotta fucking worry about that shit. That seems cool. But then you're like, they're using it to separate people. They're culty.
Yeah, it's culty.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, on paper, there's a lot of things that, like, Sabbat, it's like, oh, this could be good. The way you actually implement it.
Yeah. Like, not having to worry about someone not liking me because I am, I don't know, Bruja instead of a Toreador.
Yeah.
Not having to worry about that. That'd be cool.
Or a dirty Tremere.
Well, fuck the Tremere regardless. They don't count because they're not actually, like, of the blood. Right? I mean,
Well,
no, they'll still take them.
Oh, they shouldn't.
Kinda.
They really
It's
Again, they don't recognize the clans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they probably would. I know in the old world there was a big, because the Tzimisce were a clan.
They were like a pillar.
They were a pillar of the Sabbat, and back in the day they're just like, Tremere, ha ha ha, no.
Yeah. Well,
Except for Goratrix, you're cool. But you're not cool, and we're still gonna eat you, but also, haha. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But yeah, there weren't really Tremere in the Sabbat previously, and now I would assume it would be fine.
I have to check that.
But it would also, from what I know about the Tremere and their handlings, would most likely just not. Maybe a stray couple, but...
Yeah, I know that there was like Goratrix, and he had like a handful of followers in the Sabbat, but not large numbers. But yeah, if a Sabbat vampire has to refer to themselves as a clan, they say anti-tribu, which basically means like anti-living, anti-clan. So they'll be like, anti-tribu Nosferatu or Nosferatu anti-tribu. So if they have to acknowledge it, but that also makes interacting with them difficult and alien because most other vampires are very ensconced in their clan and as part of their society and acknowledging like, hey, I have these traits and certain things that like me and my, cousins and friends do. And then you meet this person who's just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We're all children of Cain. And you're just like, wait, what the fuck? Who? What? This guy looks like a gangrel, but he's doing blood sorcery. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that got real fucky in the old world. I'm kind of glad they didn't even think to touch on it. Was that some of the anti-tribu versions of clans even got different disciplines, and there were different discipline powers. Not that there's not new disciplines in this book, but they're like specifically ones for like anti-tribu versions of clans, or at least they're presented that way. Yeah. And it just got messy.
Yeah, there are new disciplines in the Sabbat book that are more geared for a Sabbat character, and you can pick some of them up if you want as a player character, just to be like, oh yeah, I learned this from a guy who was kind of fucking weird, or I escaped the Sabbat, or I was an infiltrator trying to, There are plot ways where you can integrate this.
Sarah's right.
What?
Oh no, they're not mentioned.
What,
the Sabbat? The Tremere are not mentioned in the Guide to Sabbat.
I know, I looked.
Yeah, I was like, I thought
there is an excerpt that explicitly explains, like, oh yeah, we sent some guys. I'm assuming they're all dead now. Oops.
Which does totally make sense.
Yeah, and continuing the vampire supremacy thing, yeah, Cainites, which is what the Sabbat refers to themselves as instead of kindred, see themselves as above mortals. They embrace the changes done to them as something that brings them closer to the divine. Because, Cain was directly cursed by God. Curse blessed.
Yeah.
The Sabbat see that as a blessing, not a curse.
Yeah, so
God was like, good, I'm glad you killed your brother. That was a fine gift for me. Here's a cookie.
Here's a cookie. And don't share it with other people. And he's like, I'm sharing this fucking cookie. But yeah, the beast that, when you're playing a normal game of vampire and you're having to fight against to, not do a bad thing, they're just like, yeah, fuck that, do all the bad things, listen to it. You and it should be one.
Depending on which path. Some of them are like, no, master that beast. Others are like, no, go with it.
Well, there's different ways of mastering it, which we can get into in a Sabbat deep dive. But
bingo.
Basically, it is an embracing of it in some fashion to the point where they don't have humanity. Which is also another reason why if a Sabbat shows up, you just go, oh, something's not right. Yeah, when you see courtroom videos of serial murderers, and you just look at them and you go, oh, they only have the lizard brain on. And you just go, oh, bad time. And part of this also goes into acquiring disciplines and strengthening your disciplines, because the power of your blood is a representation to how close you are to Cain and the overall power that you have as an individual.
Yep.
And it kind of, I kind of fell it into a commodity fetishism, and kind of equated it into a blood or discipline fetishism, which was something that comes from Karl Marx. I'm not going to get into Marxian theory too much. But the basics of commodity fetishism is you separate the value of goods from the people who make it, which is kind of the society now where it's like, buy more product and then be excited for more product. And if you kind of want to...
Don't come at my Magic the Gathering habit.
Oh, I absolutely will. And it's fine if you enjoy things because they give you small bits of joy because the economy sucks, and that's fine. But, also being aware that somebody had to make that cardboard that your Magic cards are printed on and design the art that's on it, and being aware of those things. And it's kind of a parallel to that in the Sabbat, and the way they handle blood is they've kind of separated disciplines and blood from the human element of it. So they're just kind of snapping people up and eating them and spilling blood kind of willy-nilly and taking things into their own. So they've separated the problem of diablerie from themselves in doing this, because they're just like, I just need to be more powerful. That guy has more power than me. Yonk. Ignoring the fact that that person might have had friends or a life or any sanctity of being alive.
And that's kind of what makes this also what would be the hardest part about playing a Sabbat as a player character. The book straight up says not to, but one of the biggest focuses in V5 is on feeding predator types, how you get your blood, how you emotionally relate to how you feed. You can be a bagger, you can have to knock people out and drink on them when they're sleeping, even the most back alley murdering people and stuff. It's you get stains for that, and it's very openly seen as a bad thing and a dangerous thing to be doing. You're more likely to get caught as a masquerade violation if you're openly tearing someone's heart out and eating it in a back alley versus sexy dancing someone in the club and doing a little sip.
Right.
So to play a character who has absolutely no emotional attachment to that source anymore.
Well, let's be real. I don't think I've brought it up. I don't know if anybody's brought it up yet. It's one of the parts that I like in V5. Feeding actually matters. It used to be like that in old world games where people would just be like, shit, I'm low on blood points for this fight. Give me a second. Oh, look, I'm back up to it. What? I ate a family. I didn't kill them, but I made them all real sleepy. They're going to sleep in that Wrangler right now.
No, but
I did it. I rolled and I did that.
We made jokes about ripping open a blood Capri Sun, but that's legitimately what in the old version, but that's legitimately how they interact with this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is it's just that's just going back to old world where you just be like, shit, I need some power ups.
Yeah, and this kind of vitae fetishism, that the Sabbat does, I think, also further adds to the cult-like behavior and the separation of them from other vampires. So it, like, once you start going down into this, like, road of the Sabbat, I think it's going to be really hard for a character to come back the fuck out because you're just so detached from everything.
Mm-hmm. And that's like something you could really use to hammer home the horror of these characters to your player. If feeding is something that you kind of make pronounced in your game, you know, you talk about them, like I said, having to find a sleeping victim or going out of the way to make sure their victim's sleeping. Mm-hmm. You know, they could see a character who's a Sabbat person physically, like, waking someone up just to scare the shit out of them before they fed on them. Something that's just, like, so morally opposed to how their character survives that they see the evil in that. Now, again, you know, talk to your players and stuff, but that is one of the biggest ways, I think, to put in front of a player that these are feelingless, remorseless, like, scary characters.
Well, go ahead.
There's actually proof that they do that in the books. They literally are just like, what do you do? Well, we want blood that helps advance our disciplines or has good resonance. So they would. That is definitely something they do. They'd be like, oh, can I scare the tits out of them before I kill them? Maybe that'll up their resonance. Let's go.
Or I could do an experiment where I kidnap this person and keep them in a warehouse for months or years, and then do it. And it's like, this is gone beyond I drank drug blood and now I'm a wizard, which is this has gone somewhere where it's like, this is actually a trauma. If you want to delve into this as a story, go for it. There are some elements of this I'm probably going to bring up in the game that I'm writing to put on stream because I think these heavier topics are very fucking interesting and make for good story, but they do need to be handled in a way that's as responsible as you can. I don't have a better way to say it. I'm like, do it just responsibly. Just, you know, be aware you're probably going to be on an FBI watch list if you're writing for this. To my CIA man, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
He's just stealing all your plot points.
Oh god, if he is,
he's just running a campaign somewhere.
Oh, what a bitch.
Yeah. Fuck you, CIA guy.
I'm right
Think of your own ideas.
At least, like, write up a character sheet for me, goddamn. But
I'm right
here. If you're interested in this kind of idea of like commodity fetishism and social Darwinism and how those thoughts kind of affect society, there's a really good, I count it as a crash course video from Philosophy Tube called Charles Darwin versus Karl Marx that does a really good job of trying to introducing these ideas and counterpoints to them. So, research, I've done it.
Yay!
Yeah, we did talk a little bit already about how because the Sabbat makes such a concerted effort and point to strip humanity from them because they see it as a weakness, like a spiritual weakness, conviction weakness that it's hard if you're just like, you know, a vampire bro just chilling to like go up to another Sabbat guy and go, hello fellow kindred man, how are you doing this evening? And they're probably just gonna like click at you and skitter into the darkness and you're just like, what the fuck? Who?
Yeah, there's some fluff pieces where
there's
definitely
some excellently written fluff pieces where you're just like, this is genuinely fucking upsetting. Like this is this came out.
Nosferatu who got seen.
Yeah, he was like
Ostuskate, and then
some guy looked at him and then just clicked at him, and I'm like, oh no. This book came out during the spooky month, so I'm very like, good job on pushing this back to the spooky month. This was a very spooky read. I enjoyed that. But yeah, the lack of humanity doesn't just extend to like, I'm better than other kindred because, you know, I'm working closer to be the Cane Daddy. It extends in the other direction to mortals don't register to them as like anything to worry about. They look at humans much like we might look at chickens. And it's just, so just doing anything to mortals just doesn't register as like a problem. So, you know, like if you might have seen videos of like people that work in slaughterhouses and they're just so used to the fucking grind of having to process these animals that they just kind of don't give a shit if they have to like kick certain animals just to get them into the fucking trough and shit like that.
Yeah.
And the book, the Sabbat book itself has a really good blurb about post-humanism and what that could mean theme-wise in a game. And I know that idea can be kind of hard to wrap your brain around. So I have another YouTube recommendation. It's a long fucking video, but it's really good. It's by CJ the X, and it's called Jeff Bezos versus Bo Burnham. And it's a deep dive into Bo Burnham's inside and transhumanism and how we're basically all just cyborgs now because of the internet and our cell phones.
Hey. Remember, that video is about the song Jeffrey Bezos. Everything else is secondary.
Yes, it is a 2-hour-long video about a 50-second song. But he does expand into the whole album as a piece and about how just because the way we've had to grow up with the internet, the way that we, like, even just millennials interact with each other is so vastly different than other previous generations. And the Zoomers and, like, Generation Alpha, they're going to be so much more intense into that. And
Wait, is the next one called Generation Alpha?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, the little bobbies now that are like 7, 8, 9. Alpha. They're going to the next alphabet. We ran out of letters. Yeah, just because they're so entrenched into the internet and meme culture and using technology, the way they are going to interact with themselves is going to be so different that
when the water wars happen,
we
we
millennials might not be able to relate to them once they hit teenagerdom.
I don't care.
So
I don't know about that.
mhm.
I'm definitely the youngest here, but
Yeah.
not by a huge amount,
Mhm.
but enough that I have friends who have younger siblings
Yeah.
who are like late teens. Some of their parents are just getting it on a lot. I have some
Mhm.
friends who have like little brothers who are like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And what I've found is that a lot of those kids are pushing back against the internet so much. I mean, a lot of them don't even use social media anymore,
Mhm.
and they're actually striving more towards some sense of authenticity that is like completely disappeared online. That I get along with a lot of those kids better than I do with like some of the just irony poisoned like Gen X people.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's fair, but that wasn't the crux of the video. That was just a portion of it where they talk about, people that grew up with tech have a certain way of relating to each other and how we have a culture of like inside jokes and communications, and we tend to relate to each other in an almost hive mind because we're able to ping each other instantly and get information instantly. And I've found some parallels in that to how the Sabbat is now, because they have such their own inside rituals, inside language, their own thought bubbles, and they're just insular in their own way, that Sabbat characters, they'll have a completely different moral code, and they might get upset about the fact that they didn't eat that guy because his blood looked like he looked really powerful. I should have absorbed that into myself, and I didn't.
Yeah, they're gonna.
And
feel
they might
guilty.
they might have an existential crisis over that.
yeah. Well, this is something we'll have to reapproach later on. I know we've talked about doing a ShrekNet episode, and that'll probably, my fingers cross, but I'm guessing that's going to come up more in the Second Inquisition book.
Probably, I'm hoping.
But that's also goes along with a lot of stuff I've been researching on a personal level. But let's move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was just some like, there's some parallels here that I'm just like, this is kind of interesting. But yeah, where was I? Yeah. So these Canaanites normally move in packs, and that also circles into their morals and stuff because they are small guerrilla groups that have one leader that practices the rights that can change depending on who you're going to and what's going on. Like different packs are going to have different rights, different regions are going to have different rights that they respect, and because it's the Sabbat, if you aren't a good leader, they will just fucking eat you and make another one.
That new guy might make his own
They
rights.
also usually, at least in this new book, it says that most packs follow one path.
Yep.
The pack has one path. There's no like, this guy's got Tim's path and the other one's got Jerry's path. Nope. Everybody follows Jerry's path or we kill him.
Yeah.
Or throw him out.
Yeah, whichever path of enlightenment
They're
that
going with.
you choose, that one pack will have that one vibe, and that's kind of what they go with. And they also maintain this cohesion with Vinculum, which is bonding with the whole group, with each other.
It also
like blood bonding.
Blood bonding. Yeah.
Got
They don't go to a company retreat and like shoot paintballs.
Well,
No,
it
they
also
they
was-
sip each other.
In Old World, one of the big things about that was, and it was one of the good selling things, was it was developed because it broke other blood bonds.
Oh, it still does that, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
also
no,
rebinds you with everybody in the group.
It does that too. I'm just saying that was the original thing. Was it was just like, oh, yeah, when we're rebelling, oh yeah, you're stuck to your elders. You can't kill your elders, and they're controlling you and gonna throw you in the First Inquisition. We have this new ritual that'll help with that. It'll make us good. We'll be ready to take on our elders and kill them. We're gonna break the blood bonds, and then we're gonna be cool guys. That's what it was originally.
It sounds like they're selling. Hey, let's all get blood bonded to each other. That's
that's
right?
what it was.
Yeah, let's get drunk in
that idea.
yeah, let's just get drunk in Vegas and get matching tattoos. Because we're brothers.
Right.
It's
We're
kind of
brothers in this war against the antediluvians.
Yeah. Well, let's go kill a city.
it's kind of like how ancient soldiers used to like bugger each other so that they would care and try and protect each other more on the battlefield. You're like, I'm gonna miss that butthole.
That booty just claps
Well,
all up on this
the
battlefield.
point that might have been missed that I was trying to say was it was in the Anarch Revolt when it came out. When the actual, like, actively they could see their sires chucking them to the First Inquisition and just going, no, you stay and die. You stay and die and be a corpse. And they're like, wait, we found a thing to do this. It has some side effects, but, like, that's what it was originally, was like, hey, we're using this for good. And then it turned into what it is today, drinking the Kool-Aid hard.
Flavor-Aid.
Yeah.
They skimped on the price for Kool-Aid because it was too expensive. They went with Flavor-Aid instead.
Which is also not of that cult, but I believe Flavor Aid itself is made in Indiana.
It was, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You can still find it.
Yeah.
I buy it when I find it. It's kind of rare nowadays, but it's out there.
It'd still be hopping. But yes, but why all this hate and kerfuffle and damage and harm to one's soul over the antediluvians? The reason of it boils down to, according to the general dogma of the Sabbat, the antediluvians are basically gods that when they pop out of the ground after being asleep for millennia, they're not going to stop with just eating just the Canaanites. They're going to eat fucking everything. Like, this is game over, man.
And I know we mentioned this in...
So many alien references in my life for the past, month, and I love it!
But I know we mentioned this in a previous episode, but it is not just, oh, they're going to eat all the Canaanites. Oh, they might eat all the vampires. Oh, they might eat all the humans. Literally might, universe destroying, we're just going to eat until there is nothingness, including each other.
They also, again, for the religious reasons, believe, we would have lived in a vampire utopia, which it was it Carthage?
No. Enoch.
Enoch. Yeah, Enoch. Yeah, everything would have been perfect. We had a vampire city, Enoch, where everything was good. And then Cain's original children were the ones running it. And then their children, the antediluvians, ate those. And then it fucked up our perfect party. We would have had the perfect vampire society party if it wouldn't have been for those damn antediluvians.
Which is, kind of funny. They're so pissed that the antediluvians ate their sires, but then they're like, let's fucking eat everybody.
Yeah, also the same with the... your damn elders are abusing you with, mind control. Come here, let me abuse you with mind control.
When we're making you, we are literally erasing every part of you that came before. Yeah. You'll still have your skills. Yeah. You'll still have everything we think that is useful.
Which, Hunter, if you can edit in a fucking sick guitar riff to this line I thought was really good and kind of encapsulates just the core, what the Sabbat thinks of themselves.
Yep, then give it a pause.
Yeah. When one is tasked with killing an entire pantheon of gods, anything less than the total devotion and total ruthlessness is a luxury. Yeah, which sounds really badass, but then you kind of have to also look at the totality of the badassery and go, but at what cost? It's yeah, I know, stopping the antediluvians is a good goal. I don't know if you need to crack a guy open in the middle of the street and paint pictures in blood from all of you and then, strewn his corpse pieces into an elaborate design in the middle of the fucking street, my guy.
But art. It's performance art, Sarah.
Okay, Cathari.
Calm down.
Yes. But structure.
I kid.
Oh, yes. Do you?
You shouldn't arrange someone's intestines into a beautiful butterfly.
No.
Not without consent.
Right. If you, I mean,
baby jokes at the beginning of this, the Men in Black are coming. Come on, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He
Just go
hasn't
hard.
done
I
one
haven't
baby
read
eating
one
joke.
baby joke. I
He
had
just-
the perfect opportunity just now to make a baby joke, and instead I used intestines.
Yes.
There's
They've learned. But yeah, structure. Shockingly, the Sabbat does technically have it. Basically because between, throwing themselves into the Gehenna Wars and the fighting of antediluvians, just getting fucking nuked from orbit by various Second Inquisition agents, and infighting, the structure that was doesn't really exist to the point that the Sabbat technically had an ultimate leader, technically, that's called the Regent. We don't know who that is, we don't know what the fuck they are, we don't even know if that position still exists. But it's mentioned in the book, so I've mentioned it here.
Mhm.
What you generally are going to run into is archbishops and bishops as being the leadership now, which they basically kind of work as general, like, regional managers, where they're kind of the tacticians that are just like, okay, I have the resources, I have guns, and I got, places to hide, I got intel, I can kind of vaguely herd these cats a little bit. Archbishops tend to hold a few sections or one important section, and bishops tend to hold one little section.
So I know that it also states that the Sabbat doesn't really hold domain anymore. So would it be like, this guy is an archbishop. He is the Archbishop of Chicago, just like there's still a Prince of Chicago, but he's secretly in charge of the Sabbat in Chicago.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be like that, or
We'll say after you describe them like that, I just think of them all as John C. McGinley.
yeah. There's hives or areas where they're still fairly prominent or doing things. How reasonable the bishops and archbishops are, that would be left up to storyteller discretion. Because I don't know which one's more frightening, just a cool and, like, level-headed, strategic, like military guy, or just an absolutely fucking off his goddamn rocker, like, occultist kind of, like, cult religious kind of fanatic that believes that he's infused with the power of God and anime to kick ass for the Lord, and anybody who gets in his way is immediately crushed. I think they're both fucking terrifying in different ways, and
Until
run
he
with
gets
that how
hit
you
by-
want.
Until he gets bit by a zombie head flying from the sky.
Yeah. But yeah, there is also a position called a cardinal, which is just basically kind of like a mid-tier kind of warlord kind of character. There's not many of them, but somebody could just be like, I'm Cardinal blah blah blah, and I'm fighting for the city of Rio de Janeiro, and you're just kind of like, oh fuck, he's in the spot and he gave himself a title. Fuck.
Wait, hold on. So you're not allowed to give yourself just a random title?
No,
in
you
the Sabbat?
can. That's the thing.
Actually,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there's total.
I was about to say,
That's kind
excuse
of the
the fuck
thing,
out
yeah.
of me. It says freedom, and I want to be called the Duke.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Some of these titles, you shouldn't take them unless you're willing to defend that, because they will bitch slap the shit out of you. But yeah, if you're just like, I am Duke Earlshire of Kensington, they'll be like,
Yeah.
good day to you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to be the Duke, and I'll fight you guys for it.
I mean, that's fine. Like, within the spot, a lot of their structures are making
I'm a
fun of the
duke.
Catholic Church, so that's why they have bishop, archbishop,
Well,
cardinal.
none of us are Sabbat.
Speaking
Yeah, that's true.
of,
Duke also means poop, so I'm just gonna let you have
we're
it.
gonna-
Oh, I didn't say Dukey.
we're going to slide on past that to the pack priest. This is generally the leadership you would see, and it is the guy or gal or they who is in charge of the little gaggle of fucking terrorists that are in your story.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think the guy that just, like, clicks and runs away just, I don't know, talks in Morse code to the
They-
rest of his little pack?
They might have detached themselves so hard that when they've reformed, they basically have their own language that they communicate in now, that you're just kind of like, oh, I don't know what this is, but I'm frightened.
I won't spoil it. I've
fine.
kind of jumped around chapters
Mm-hmm.
from my reading, but that is fully possible.
Yeah.
Like,
Cool.
Yep.
I mean, that's cool. I like that.
It's really cool, but also
Yeah,
you're just
also
like,
really scary, but really cool.
yeah.
It's fun.
And then, there is the general, what is called the true spot. So anybody who's a Canaanite who's gone through the rituals of getting rid of their humanity is true spot, and that's most people. There's very few, like, I've got a position of authority. And even then it's like, do you really though?
Yeah, I was kind of questioning this whole thing. It's like one of their big things is question authority 100% of the time. By the way, here's some people who are your authority.
Yeah, well, it's kind of authorities by virtue of violence.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it. It's like, hey, I don't know if I agree with that. Okay, well, I'll just rip your throat out.
Yeah.
And then
I was like, I'll rip
the
your
end of
throat
it.
out because, you're a Canaanite and you'll heal from this. And if you don't, you're a little bitch.
got it.
And you better fucking get your shit together.
Also,
That's 100%.
some of these people may have been around long enough before they got real fucked up that they could just be using a title that they had in a city that's not even held by the Sabbat anymore.
Right.
But just by virtue of still being alive and around, they are the fucking archbishop or whatever.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, they have abandoned their land holdings. They just went. It's the reason why, again, I lost my shit. Of all the cities that they're like, oh yeah, the Sabbat used to have this. They didn't mention Montreal, which is a big weird thing.
There's a whole game for that is canon and has story in it. I just haven't bought it because I don't have the money.
So that could be a later episode. Also, as like just being one of the tentpole clans, the Zamits, they might just hold on to those titles because no, I am the true.
Oh yeah, for
Well,
sure.
this is my title. I don't.
Zamitzi and yeah.
Yeah.
This is my land. If I may be in another country now, but in 20 years, if I decide to go back, it is my land, and I
Honestly,
will claim it.
I have not read the book because I don't do the homework, guys. I'm the cool kid in the class. I mean, let's be real. A Zamitzi that's like getting the beckoning or is called to go to war and is like, no, this is my land, would probably just meld with it. They'd probably be like, okay, well, I can't go to the beckoning if I'm just the ground.
Pick me up now, you asshole. That's the ultimate version of just fucking dead
Go
bodying
left.
yourself. Just
Go
dead
left.
waiting. Just like, make me, blit. Pick my ass up, I dare you.
Let's go.
Just meld and then torpor.
Yeah. Or not even torpor. I mean, like, one of the high-level powers here in V5 is you meld with, like, your haven, and then everything within, like, a mile radius you can, like, sense through the things on your, in your territory. So it's like, I could totally see a Zamitzi just being like, I am the archbishop? I am the archbishop. I am also this house. And they only come out when it's time to yell at somebody or something like that.
That would also just be an interesting story of them trying to do that, but like the beckoning's a mental thing, not a physical thing, and they're just like they're struggling, like my land or my.
Yeah, because
that'd be a really cool
Beast.
haunted house game.
this book still has not said what the beckoning is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah, there's a couple other little notes
Yeah.
of titles in the Sabbat that just might pop up. You can use them in your game. No. There is the Priscus. This is a specialized Sabbat that deals in intelligence gathering. Weirdly enough, they're often not tied to a pack.
I was about to say, so
They are.
Clicky Boy is probably not a Priscus.
No, Clicky Boy is probably not. These ones, when I've read about them, I'm like, these ones I find particularly terrifying because they are like running around in between different packs and sharing intel and talking to each other and planning things. And I'm just like, oh, this is a freelance Sabbat guy who's got the skills to be alone? No.
That's pretty intense.
This is John Wick with powers.
There's no way that dude just walk into a pack and go, who can I murk here?
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't actually kill the pack leader, just claps him, is like, all right, listen, here's your info. And then just fucks off. And they're like, man, knocked our pack priest into torpor. I guess we gotta eat him now. Tim, do you want to be the pack priest now? Like,
Cool!
Hey!
It's my turn!
Yeah.
Tim got a promotion.
Hey.
Oh,
Let's-
is this because I made Tim thwack?
Yeah. But yeah, there's also the term paladin or Templar because, the pursuant of making fun of the Catholics has to continue. This was a title used before the beckoning to denote a Canaanite of special note or of good deed within the Sabbat. Younger Sabbat that have arisen since the beckoning are not going to know what the fuck this is unless they've got some sort of like education about the situation, which is funny because one of the La Sombre characters in Chicago by Night still uses that shit, and it's very funny to be like, yeah, you're Swixwagon with this cool title, and nobody knows what the fuck this means because the cam doesn't fucking care, and any of the baby Sabbats are gonna not know what the fuck this is. That's funny.
I like that.
And then the last term, the fan favorite.
Shuffleheads!
Sounds fun. It's awful.
It is bad.
It's very bad. This is
bummer.
this is literally a war crime.
Yep.
Who wants to describe what shovelheading is?
Ooh. Because there are 2 terms for this.
Yes.
Again, shovelhead, otherwise known as a thwack, is also a version of it. Shovelheads, they're new recruits, and they have a very fun way to mass recruit for Sabbat.
Is it a fundraiser? Is it a cookie drive?
No.
Damn.
It's the practice of shovelheading involves knocking a bunch of folks unconscious, throwing them into a hole, pouring vitae on them, filling the hole, and then waiting to see who comes out.
Yeah, definitely not a cake bake.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
There's not a dunk tank at
It's
this.
not. Well, I mean,
this
there technically is a dunk tank.
Hey!
And by dunk
That's
tank, we mean
a hole in the ground.
It's a hole in the ground that we filled with people, and then.
Yeah, it's more like a cherry mud pie.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think it's sharks that sometimes like lay clusters of eggs or no, they don't lay eggs. The sharks that give live birth sometimes they'll like fight and eat each other in the womb, and then pop out and be like, "I'm the ultimate shark." It's
So this is a pretty intense version of mud wrestling.
Yeah, this is it's definitely a thing to get rid of their humanity. It's an indoctrination. It's just it's a lot of ways to build up shock troops because again, in old world, that used to just be a surprise like hurricane season for cam cities. You just be like, what's that loud screaming noise we're hearing from the oh my god, there are 20 vampires running directly into the city in one direction.
You ever
It's shovelhead season.
if you've ever played the PC game,
Mhm.
that's one of the inciting incidents in the game are shovelheads.
Yeah.
Oh
Bloodlines.
shit! Yeah, I need to replay that. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's
And that's a big thing is any Sabbat that are embraced in the traditional sense are hazed viciously if they weren't shovelheaded. If they did not go through the ritual of shovelheading or thwacking, you do not get the kudos big boy points. There's only I think one path that's like, hey, we don't shovelhead. That's because we have a specific thing we're doing.
yeah, and even then they're still just gonna be
Yeah, they're still going to get hazed by other people if they can't fuck a bitch up.
I was about to say. So then you just got to
Yeah, just
put
start.
somebody in their place.
yeah.
You're just going to
Make
start
fun
like
of me.
eating.
Oh,
Yeah.
drop people's elbow on you, son.
Which those people are magic, so they'll just be like, blood sorcery, fuck off.
Yeah, but it's also like the sire could, depending on what's going on, just be a dick and be like, well, I mean, you're still technically bonded to me, so sit. You guys can do whatever you want to them. They need to learn. And it's just like, oh no.
And also, if they're not shovelheading people, remember what we talked about earlier, they're probably doing some kind of fucked up eugenicist bullshit, trying to
They're like, oh, this one's got power.
Again, just read the paths. There's one that's like, no, they don't. They do it in the traditional sense for a reason. It's a real fucked up. They're like, no, I don't want to hit his head. I like his mind. I need them just as smart as they were before, but no emotions.
Yeah. Just how do we Ted Kaczynski this bitch? But yeah, so that's wraps on that. So thoughts on the book and the Sabbat.
I have not finished the book. I'm kind of nearing the mid section, and I've been debating with myself about whether or not I should read on. It is a very ST focused book, and I'm trying to decide how much I really want to spoil for myself. I mean, I've read a lot of the old world stuff, and this definitely wipes that slate clean.
Not necessarily. It's basically like continuation. So you know how in the old world they were prepping for Gehenna?
Gehenna's happening.
It now, bitch.
Yeah,
Go
get
ahead
it
here.
now. Again, I'll be writing an episode.
That's fair. But, I mean, as a player, as someone who knows a lot of the old world stuff and just reading kind of the first half of the book and what we've discussed here, I'm sure there's mention of old stuff, but it really is such a big change in their structure and what they're doing that everything I know previously from the story, my brain can kind of just throw out and say, well, maybe that matters. maybe that guy got like fucking 8 3 years ago kind of thing. So, but from what I've read, it's fucking terrifying. There are some awesome things. I would say I went ahead and snuck a peek at the disciplines because I'm always interested in those, but I would say if you have an ounce of self-control, maybe see if your storyteller wants to offer that to your character, if they would think that would be good for a character, because there's a couple of them I could see players using, but for the most part, like, I think this is a very ST-focused book, and if you're a player who's not planning on running a game, I wouldn't read too far into it. That's all I've seen so far, is it's very, 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 very plot heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say if you don't read what they're going with right now, it can be good, because I in prep for this and helping Sarah write this episode, chewing through this, I literally had a concept for 2 characters coming, because I'm like, oh no, I have 2 really good stories for like ex-Sabbat players that like, I got the hell out. I want to be a extra human. Like, I still recognize that I am not human, but I wish to have a humanity path. Like, I didn't want to go down the path. Like, there's a lot of good stuff you can do in that. Like, again, a patter that is a shovel head. That's amazing. You just like, I just escaped. They hit me with a shovel. I don't have any memories. I don't want to sign up for this. Who's taking me in? Anarchs? Cam? Not them. That's a decent character concept. Just I shovel-headed and somehow I got away.
No, that's
did I?
That's a great character, but I think that's still not jumping into the deep, like, the deep end of the story that's presented here. That's the stuff I would talk to your storyteller if you are playing a game, be like, hey, are you focusing heavily on any of this stuff so I don't read it? I mean, that's usually a good question, but this book specifically, it's kind of like any setting book. It's kind of difficult to hand to your players sometimes when, like, the back quarter of the book is like, there's just an adventure in there, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will say, at least if you're interested in the book, anybody who has read anyone who's read deeply into Beckett's Jihad Diary, this is a good, like, things I read in that book are now being picked up and run with, and oh no. Oh no. Yes, but no. Ooh. So that was exciting to read things go, I know that name. Oh no. Oh, this is bad. This is very bad. This is great, but oh no. Mm-mm.
I'm on my 4th sit-down read-through of the Illuminatus trilogy, so I just have not had the brain power to try and sit down with Beckett's.
I'm shocked you're, like, here talking to us right now.
Yeah, I get a little farther every time. That's my goal. I read as far as I can, and then I just kind of process and take a break, and I restart the book again. Because the collection I have is the entire trilogy is one book. It's not split up.
No.
It's rad.
It's rad, but your brain. Any thoughts you had on the Sabbat, John?
They seem like shit fucks.
Yeah.
Big old dick butts.
They're spooky.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting kind of as awful as they are to be this. I guess I was kind of hoping for more of like the just spooky.
Yeah.
And I was just crossing my fingers for a little bit less of the like Unit 731.
Yeah, there's good stuff in the notes for storytellers to be like, hey, if you want to set up something that's spooky, just to fuck with your players, there's some really good stuff for that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get into that because when I were planning on doing more of like a deep dive on the book and so if you want to introduce this into your game in a way that's like actually spooky, here are our thoughts on that and hopefully some freebies. I think we're planning on doing some freebies with the deep dive episodes.
Cool.
Join Patreon to vote on those things, I guess. But at least for now, because as far as my understanding, we can give a little bit of interest in homebrew stuff. Because I know a lot of people online were just like, I'm mad I can't play this as a PC. And I'm like, there's literally nothing stopping you from you doing this at your table if you want.
If they would.
I don't advise you just bringing a Sabbat character into your fucking troop without, like, asking the ST and the other players, seeing if they're cool with it.
That's how you get kicked out of a troop.
Yeah. But the options that I kind of roughly came up with for if you wish to do this at home is get rid of the humanity tracker on your character sheet. Just don't fucking have it. And set the chronicle tenets to be the ethics for the path, and everybody in the group has to pick the same thing. So there's no humanity tracker, there's no convictions, you just have the chronicle tenets. Everybody has the same chronicle tenets.
That works.
That works. Kind of addendum I had to that was erase the word humanity on the humanity tracker and replace it with like path of enlightenment or path, or whatever the path of enlightenment you pick is. And again, also set the chronicle tenets to be the ethics for the path. And if you want to pursue that a little further, everybody who's in the pack with you, you pick one person in the pack that most exemplifies one of the ethics. So like, oh yeah, Todd's really good at this, at the ethic 1, and Jill's good at ethic 2, and Travis is good at 3. And then those are your quote unquote touchstones. So anytime during the game you do something that goes against the ethics, you take a stain for that.
I like it.
Yeah, so there's ways to do it if you want. I'm sorry that... Yes?
Oh, you can continue your sentence.
Sorry. Yeah, it's like, you can do this if you want. I'm sorry that the writers of the book series realized that they made monsters, and they're trying to not be unethical fucking edgelord douchebags, and they just didn't hand you a fucking written loaded gun to fuck everybody's day up with. Yes.
I had a third suggestion for ways you could run this. Now... just something I was kind of conceptualizing in my head. But what if you basically, again, you could get rid of the name humanity or whatever, but you basically ran everything in reverse. So in a standard vampire game, the closer you get to or the lower your humanity gets, the stronger the beast is inside your head, and you're struggling against your beast for control. In a Sabbat game, you could almost do the opposite, where instead of having the ST being like the voice of the beast in your head, your character is basically the beast. You have completely given yourself to the beast, and the voice you hear in your head is the little sliver of humanity you have left.
That's an interesting concept. That'd be a little hard with some of the paths.
We
haven't got to them yet.
Yeah, no, I honestly think that's a really good idea, where it's just that last little nugget of like, hey, maybe don't do this thing because it's like super fucked up. The only like fluff annoyance in that is the book does bring up the point that members of the Sabbat are really prone to wassailing or just going full like white like nuts, losing their mind and being just insane kill monsters. So they have to maintain a certain amount of control of themselves to not do that, which is why they have the paths to kind of like keep them just focused enough to not like completely go batshit. So how you might want to balance that in your own table, that's up to you. Again, I'm not here to shame anybody into running certain games. If like, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. I might not be at your fucking table though. I'm going to be straight up.
Well, I think that would be the only way to me that would keep it interesting, is in those moments of clarity, in those moments where you're not like absolutely ripping through a minivan full of like children, that like there's a little voice in your head being like, oh fuck, I had a son. Just something, even like for a moment you pause before like continuing your rampage. You would need something like that. And even if you don't want to gamify that out with a full like humanity tracker kind of thing, that is still a way I would, I would definitely try and force, is like, there's still that voice of like, well, oh yeah, I used to be named Tim and I had a wife, before you like the white hot embers of your brain just go back into a complete rage. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think it'd be fun if you ran a pack. This is completely off topic now, but well, fuck that. We have 4 of us here, right? Yes. So roll a d4 and you're just blood bonded to that person. Like straight up, like you write it on your sheet.
Well, you're blood bonded to each other as a pack with the Viniculum.
Just no matter what? Yep. Oh, okay, never mind. Fuck that.
No. You can be slightly more blood bonded to somebody if you want in the pack.
Or it talks about in the book, every group runs differently. They all have their own different rituals and practices. They don't have to all do the Viniculum. You could have a pack that's just like, all right, you blood bond her, she's going to blood bond him, and just make like a spider web of...
It's just a Mexican standoff of blood bonding.
Yeah, I think that's a fun idea.
And it would definitely kind of... I mean, you could do something similar to that with any sect, but I think it would be especially apt here. But it would kind of create like an interconnected web of like politics that otherwise would be kind of lacking in a Sabbat game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
So that was the Sabbat. Social Darwinism with blood and rock and roll, and it's spooky. It's very scary. I really fucking love everything I've read with the Sabbat book. It's great. I feel so fucking valid as a Vampire the Masquerade player, being like, hey, the Sabbat have a bunch of these problems that, like, people should probably bring up in their games as, like, this is kind of fucked up. And I really appreciate that the publishers went, you're right, you know what, this is actually really fucked up and we should acknowledge that as a company. And I'm like, thank God, somebody fucking said it. Jesus Christ.
Well, not just that, I completely agree, but I think it also, I can't remember the last time I read for any setting, any tabletop game, I can't remember the last time I read a description of a villain or an enemy class that actually, like, unnerved me or made me uncomfortable from beginning to end. Not end because I haven't finished it, but as far as I've gotten. And I think taking away those player options and those sometimes there's good guys really helps with that, because beginning to end, this is a monster. This is something you don't want to deal with. This is not something you can have a conversation with. This is not something you'd be like, oh, I'm from 200 years ago too. I read that book. There's no like,
well, we played cricket together once back in Langfordshire.
I will say, because you haven't gotten into it, there is one bit that I'm like, that's interesting and might be going somewhere, and it's what they're doing with the Thin Bloods.
Oh God, yeah, no, we'll go into that on the deep dive, because what they're doing with the Thin Bloods is so fucking good.
Yeah, that is
it's
more
so fucking good.
Interesting, and might not be as... It might be like the diet fucked up.
Oh no, it's more fucked up.
Well, no, I don't mean their path. I mean the way how the Thin Bloods act. Not their specific path. That thing, that's fucked.
Yeah. But it's also like I can see why they got there. You get some really interesting, like, why do people do some of these really horrendous things when they're pushed? And it's like, yeah, well, if you push certain groups of people into certain situations, some of them will react in a very violent and just extreme way. And it's like, I get why they're doing that. It's still not good, and it's very bad, and oh God, it's very spooky. But it's like, I see why they're there. There's some sympathy there, at least.
If you guys vote for it and we do the deep dive on Sabbat episode, there's a book that I've had sitting on my shelf for years now. I bought it out of morbid curiosity in like a dollar bookstore. Mm-hmm. It's called Unsettling Accounts, and it is nothing but interviews with people who've been convicted of war crimes, and it's literally just sitting down and be like, why'd you do it? And them talking through the process of what they did, what led them to that moment, and how they felt about it when they did it, and now. And I started reading it back in college, decided I didn't have the stomach to finish it, but I will dive back into some of that if we do a Sabbat deep dive. I think stuff like that is really interesting, and you can humanize a monster because there are human monsters and still have it be terrifying.
Yep.
But yeah, this episode's ended up being a little bit more of a downer than I expected, but it's like, you kind of have to if you're going to talk about this with any sense of, like, actual weight it deserves. Because, yeah, it's not just like, oh no, I killed a guy. This is like...
Hell yeah, I killed a guy.
Yeah, no, it's
Fuck
not...
yeah.
Yeah, no, this is, like, dehumanization. This is just... Theming in this does relate to things that have, like, fucked our society and are still continuing to fuck our society. So it's just kind of like, if you're gonna have this in your story, that's fine, but maybe, like, be aware of the ramification of your choices. Bum bum. Thanks, Paralyze, for your music.
Yeah. It'll be all okay. Just go put on some Immortal records and, like...
Oh, God. I'm gonna need more ice cream. Like,
Too late. Ice cream's closed.
I know. Like, y'all, I spent, like, 2 weeks listening to documentaries about social Darwinism and eugenics for this podcast. I'm just like, ugh.
I will take that responsibility on next time. There's a couple books that I've been meaning to stomach anyway, so...
Yeah, and, you know, this is a fun game. I like it. And I also like the fact that it's, like, it allows people to process some of these things that are really heavy and weighty and worldy and just kind of bring it down to a level where you're like, oh, this does have some weight and meaning to it, and I should probably pay attention to things. So, yay, just trying to be a better person. We exist on Twitter. I don't know. Does Twitter make us better people?
No.
I don't know. It's at Blank Bodies. We're also on Instagram.
At Blank Bodies Pod.
We're all really stoked right now.
We are, but also just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Check out our link tree. It's linked below.
Yeah, we got a bunch of free stuff. That's always fun.
We do have the freebies that are fun. You can torture Benny. Please don't put Benny in the Sabbat. I'll be real
Benny
sad.
is not a Sabbat character. Can we make that canon?
Yes.
I mean,
He can face off against the Sabbat.
He is too big of a...
He's kind of a...
He's too big of a wiener.
He would just get killed.
Yeah.
They'd be like, you want to join our pack? And he'd be like, well, I don't know. And they'd be like, well, we've crushed your head now.
yeah, I was about to say, I think that's the more accurate statement is to be like, Benny's foray into the Sabbat. Benny enters the spot. Benny is immediately murked.
Yeah.
Benny realizes they're a little bit of a wiener, so they can't be involved in the Sabbat. So they just are like, if I make myself real small, they won't notice me. Which might actually work, honestly. If you just make yourself a complete non-threat.
Yeah. Because then you're not strong enough to be worth eating.
Yeah, they're just kind of like, I've got bigger things to deal with.
Yeah. We've also got our notes on blood resonances in there. We've got the blank character sheets. There may be some other stuff up there by the time this episode's out. I don't remember.
I would like to go ahead and, since we haven't in a while, thank Nerdbert for our fucking character sheets.
The sheets were
It's
dope.
so cool, man.
So good.
We're going to cover the Anarchs next week, and it's going to be a little bit lighter. A lot lighter.
A lot lighter.
We're going to be partying and booze.
Hey guys, you remember what you thought the old Sabbat was like?
You can just do that in the Anarchs.
It's just the Anarchs.
Do you want to be an edgy fuckstick with a katana that's like fighting against the establishment? You can just
if you want to be
Anarchs.
if you want to be the anti-hero that fights the antediluvians.
You could also just be an anarch and not do the brain rape.
If you want,
you can focus on killing the antediluvians, not everybody else.
Also, next week's episode is probably just going to be mostly us like side starring into weird life stories of ours.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I don't know why.
Yeah, should we? I guess it's.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
No, totally.
Totally
'Cause
not at all.
We wouldn't be anarchs. No
We're
way.
we're not anarchs at all. I'm not.
Oh no.
I guess this is our first Gold Star episode. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really get into it. If you guys vote for Sabbat,
We'll get into it.
Deep dive. That'll be a dark one.
Yeah.
I'll bring banana stickers.
No, I've already got the research. I've already got the research.
Is this a banana
for
sticker?
bit of that. It's not.
Yeah.
Again, starts out good.
Yeah. No.
And then just.
Yeah.
They had
The best of intentions.
Yeah.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and it ends in banana stickers. This is a banana sticker episode.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we gotta go because I gotta drink booze now to feel less sad.
I'm going to go hang out with my puppies.
You do have cute puppies. Hell yeah. Goodbye.
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 Well, bye-bye now.
Bye.